Again, my name is Gwen Sorley, and we will be talking about play attention today. And I really, again, appreciate all of you attending our session. Many of you, and I've been looking at the list of people as you are logging in, have attended our webinars in the past. And many of our webinars address different areas of executive function. We give you tips and strategies on how to avoid procrastination, how to improve your time management skills, your organization skills. And we want you to have all of that information. We want you to be informed. We want you to have different tips and strategies that you can use personally, or you can use with your child or with your clients. But many of you have said, but I've tried that and it just doesn't work. I've spent time creating to-do lists and creating a calendar, but it just doesn't work for me. I don't seem to follow through with it. And that's why we're going to be talking specifically about play attention today. Because although we want you to have all of those tips and strategies in your toolbox, what we truly need to do is we need to get to the root cause. Why are you struggling in these areas? And the root cause is typically weak executive function. So today, we're going to talk about how play attention customizes a neurocognitive training plan for each of you in order to pinpoint different cognitive skills that are necessary for strong executive function and success. That way, when we give you tips and strategies, if we teach you how to create an effective calendar, you can then create that calendar and remember you have the calendar. Remember to keep up with that calendar. The accommodations that your child may have at school will become more effective if we can get to the root of the issue, and that is weak executive function. If we can improve those skills, then you can be successful and use all of those tips and strategies that are provided to you. So we have been doing one thing. We specialize in one thing, and we've been doing this one thing for almost 30 years. We help you reach your goals. Now, I know all of you are here today because you have a specific goal in mind. Perhaps you're here as an adult and you want to improve your organization. Hattie says routines and consistency is so important. So maybe you're working towards improving your ability to be consistent and develop those routines. Or maybe you want to improve relationships. Perhaps you're here as a parent and you want to help your child with specific skills that will help your child be successful at school and with friendships. Or maybe you're a professional and you're working towards helping your clients develop those skills, be more organized, have better time management skills, be able to control their emotions. So what are your goals today? Why are you here? Please go ahead and type why you're here today, what your goals are. Are you here as a parent? Are you looking at play attention for yourself personally? Or are you here as a professional, or all of the above? Go ahead and type some of your goals in the chat box so I can get a better idea of who's in our audience today, and I can share some of that with you as well. Okay, excellent. So Susie says she is here to help her 7-year-old child who's struggling. Great. Good. Cheryl Lynn says, I'm an OT working in school-based practice, serving students with poor executive function. Angela is here to help her 13-year-old son. Nathan is here for himself and his child. Sarah is here for herself and 14-year-old son. Harry is here to help his clients. Excellent. Rebecca is here. She's a special ed teacher. Jacob is here because late ADD diagnosis, adult of 49 years. Lisa, professional resource, corrections. Lauren is here to help clients. Excellent. Very good. Thank you for typing in some of your responses. I can't read all of them, but you see, we have a wide variety of individuals here. We have professionals, we have adults, we have parents. And, a couple of you brought up important points. For example, Sarah, she said she's here for herself and her 14-year-old son. And it's really important to keep in mind that play attention is appropriate for both children and adults. We do recommend that you're at least 5 years old, but you can work all the way up through adulthood. So if you are here and you're thinking about working personally for yourself, but also with your child, then you're in the right spot. We can definitely help with that. And I think we also had another person just type in about the same situation. Andrew said, I'm here for myself, just diagnosed at 41, and my 2 kiddos who all struggle with executive function and other ADHD symptoms. We don't know what causes an attention difficulty or ADHD, but it does seem to run in many families. So when we work with a family with the home program, it is very rare that we only work with one individual. Typically, we do work with at least 2, if not more family members, at least one of the parents and at least one or multiple children as well. Susan said she's looking at it for herself. She's tired of not being able to get to fun projects because life tasks take so much time and effort. That goes back to our title, Susan, where we say, improve executive function and stop working so hard, because that's one of the issues, right? You know how to do all these life tasks. It's just the process is difficult. So at the end of the day, you may feel that you've been working all day long, and yet you didn't accomplish anything that you set out to do. And we're going to talk about how we can reach that goal, Susan, of being more productive and more effective, so you do have time for those fun things, which is so important. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Jacob says, seeing you on slide and separate camera view. Okay, if you have 2 views right now, Jacob, if you have 2 views, you have the main view of me in the bottom right-hand corner and then a smaller view in the top. Just click that underscore and that will hide the second view. Okay, you can go ahead and just hide that second view. It's not necessary. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm sure other people will want to do that as well. So the way we're going to help you reach your goals is that we are going to get to know you a little bit more. We're going to assess your particular needs, and then we are going to customize a neurocognitive training plan for you that specifically pinpoints the cognitive skills that right now may be weak for you, but necessary for strong executive function. And like I said, we know that we can help by doing this, by creating these neurocognitive training programs for you, because we've been doing this for almost 30 years. We were the pioneers in this genre. We actually invented the genre back in the early 1990s. It was our founder, Peter Freer, who was working with both children and adults with ADHD and weak executive function back in the 1980s. And he found it to be very challenging and very frustrating at times, because he was working with such bright individuals who were struggling to reach their potential simply because of weak executive function and attention difficulties. So he started researching the different attention training techniques that were being done at the time. And he came across the work that Dr. Pope and Dr. Paulson were doing at NASA. And what they were doing is that they were integrating feedback technology with their simulator training. So let me explain that a little bit further. This means that when they were working with their pilots and astronauts in their simulator training, they were using feedback technology. the feedback technology actually monitored the brain states of their pilots and astronauts, and then gave that information over to the simulator training. So if the pilot and astronaut, if they were in their peak attentive state, if they were very attentive, then it was very easy to manipulate the simulator. The controls were automatic. They were very easy to use. However, if that pilot or astronaut became distracted or stressed or anxious, wasn't as attentive, no longer in that peak attentive state, then all of those controls became sluggish. They were manual. They were harder to use. So what they were doing in that training scenario is that they were training those pilots and astronauts how to do their job, which was to fly the simulator while in their peak attentive state. And they did that by integrating feedback technology with their actual job skill training. And our founder thought, that's brilliant. If I could integrate that feedback technology with specific cognitive skills that my students need in order to be successful in the workplace or at home or at school, then I have a comprehensive program. And that was the very foundation of play attention. So what makes play attention so effective and unique is what we teach and how we teach it. Play attention is the only program available that integrates that feedback technology, feedback-based technology with cognitive skill training and behavior shaping to provide you with the most comprehensive approach available. Susan asks, what were the names of the men from NASA? It was Dr. Pope, P-O-P-E, and Dr. Olafur Paulson. Okay, excellent. All right. So again, what we've done, much like they did at NASA, integrating feedback technology with specific training, we're integrating our feedback technology with specific cognitive skill training and behavior shaping. So you see on our screen, this is our body wave technology. And I'm going to show it to you here. So that's our technology. On the back, you'll see those 3 sensors. So this simply rests on your arm. And those 3 sensors monitor your brain activity indicative of attention. And then that information is given over to the computer where you're allowed to control all of the cognitive exercises just with your mind, or more specifically, your attention alone. And you receive constant and immediate feedback as to whether or not you truly are focused and paying attention. And that's a really important first step in the learning process, because right now, if you look at your child or your spouse or your client and you say, I need you to pay attention, what do you typically hear back? I want to see if you're hearing the same thing I was hearing as a teacher, because I was teaching for many years. I started using play attention with my students back in 1996. So when I looked at my students with attention difficulties and said, I need you to pay attention, there was usually one reply that I heard back. What do you typically hear back? Go ahead and type it in the chat box for me. Yes, a lot of you are hearing the same thing that I was hearing when I was teaching in the classroom. Sherilyn says, I am paying attention. Retta, I am paying attention. Hattie says, I am paying attention. I'm not certain who this is, but it says Zoom is your name. I am. Jacob, I'm trying. Excellent. So many of you are saying, I am paying attention. Andrew says he just hears silence. But most of you are saying, I am. And, they really think that they are, but they just haven't developed what it takes for them personally to stay very attentive to low stimuli for long periods of time. So what we're doing with our technology is we're taking that very abstract concept of attention and we're making it concrete and controllable. So now they actually see their attention in real time. They feel what they're doing and they're allowed to practice it. We provide them with an experience. And if you think about learning, if you think about how your child learns or how you learn, let me know. I'm going to launch a poll on the screen and let me know what you feel. How do you, your children, or your students learn best? Is it through lecture or hands-on experiential learning? Go ahead and click your reply in on the screen, or you can type it in if you don't see the poll on the screen. Excellent. And I'll give you, do you learn through hands-on experiential learning or lecture? How do you learn best? Good. I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1. Okay, excellent. 100% of you who replied, oh, well, no, I take that back. 96% of you said that you learn best or your child learns best by experiential learning, right? Hands-on approach. And unfortunately, with attention, we typically try to teach it through lecture, right? We say, sit still, eyes on me, pay attention. And we try to tell them what to do in order to pay attention, but that really doesn't result in change. It really doesn't teach them what it means to pay attention. So with the body wave technology, we give them an experience where they actually can see their attentive state in real time, feel what they're doing, and practice very specific cognitive skills. So just like at NASA, when they were integrating that feedback training or that feedback technology with their specific skill training, we're going to integrate our feedback technology with specific cognitive skill training. That means that all of our cognitive exercises are brain enabled, meaning you have to be paying attention in order to activate the activity. If you're not paying attention, the activity will stop or the character will go in the wrong direction, immediately giving you feedback that you're no longer as attentive. And then you have to control your daydreaming, control your behavior, focus back in order to continue. So no matter what you're working on, whether it's working memory or short-term memory or auditory processing, you have to be in your peak attentive state in order to activate the activity. Susan says, if the lecture is enthusiastic and engaging, then and fast-paced, it keeps your attention. Exactly. But that lecture has to be really good. You're right. Sometimes you have a great lecturer who can do that for you. Now, when we talk about helping you reach your goals, we know that we have to spark brain change. We have to create new neural pathways in your brain that are required for strong executive function. But brain change doesn't just occur. There have to be specific catalysts in place in order to spark brain change. And play attention incorporates those 3 catalysts into the program. So the very first catalyst necessary for brain change is, of course, attention. And we've just been talking about how attention is incorporated into our program, because you have to be paying attention in order to activate the activity. And the reason we do this is because we know you can have a great teacher, you can have a great counselor, a great life coach. However, if you are having a hard time paying attention to that person or that process, then it's going to be very difficult for you to spark that brain change and create those new neural pathways. In order to learn, in order to spark that brain change, you have to be actively engaged. So our program mandates that you are actively engaged in order to activate the activity. The second catalyst is the challenge factor, right? We incorporate challenge because we have what's called an auto adjust algorithm. That means when you put this body wave armband on, we're looking at your best ability to pay attention. And all of the activities are based on that baseline, based on that level of attention. If you're able to reach or exceed that level, then you're able to activate the exercise. You're able to move the character in the right direction, practice working memory, practice auditory processing. Now, if you're able to maintain that level of attention for a given number of seconds, then we raise the bar in the background just a little bit. So now, in order to be successful, you have to be that much more attentive. So we always raise the bar just a little bit. So you have to be more focused each time. Now, the reason we do that is because if you come into a session and you're 100% successful, you're not going to learn anything. But the opposite is true too. Some of you may be sitting here and thinking, well, I don't want my child to be frustrated and too challenged because he's already frustrated in the classroom or at home. And that's right. We want you to be challenged. However, if you become fatigued, or if you're unable to reach that original baseline, that original level of attention, then we bring you back down to your last successful level and we gradually build you up again. Because if you're 100% frustrated, you're not going to learn anything either. So our auto adjust algorithm constantly keeps you at a challenging yet success-based pace. Now, this also means, if you think about it, you don't have to have a deficit in these areas in order to improve your personal skills. We can use play attention as peak performance training. Individuals who use play attention as peak performance training include NASA, NASCAR, the Women's Olympic Bobsled Team, even a nuclear power agency up in Toronto uses play attention in order to help their staff members or their athletes be in their peak attentive state. So again, you don't have to have a deficit in these areas in order to improve your personal skills. And finally, we need to have deliberate practice in place. So the three catalysts are attention, challenge, and deliberate practice. That means when you come into a session, our artificial intelligence, sheer genius, is going to set mini goals for each of the cognitive skill areas, because you have to have a goal set, right? If you are an athlete, let's say you play golf and you go to the range, and every day you go to the range with a bucket of balls and you just hit the balls on the driving range with no goal, with no intention in mind. You just hit the balls over and over and over again. Chances are you are never going to really be a top golfer, right? You're not going to improve your skills that much. In order to improve skills, you have to do a deliberate practice model, which means you go into your training session with a specific goal in mind. And if you want to look a little bit more into deliberate practice, a good area to look is Anders Ericsson, who did all of the research in deliberate practice. It's very interesting, and what you need to have in place in order for training to be effective. Now, as I mentioned, we've been doing this for many years, but Tufts University wanted to know, is that integration of feedback-based technology with cognitive skill training and behavior shaping, is that important? Or can we just give you a series of cognitive exercises, or what you hear a lot about as brain games, and get the same results? So they went into the Boston Public School District, and this was Tufts University School of Medicine. They went into the Boston Public School District, and they had 3 different groups of students, all identified as ADHD. The first group received play attention. So they had full integration. Remember, feedback with cognitive skill training and behavior shaping. The second group received just cognitive exercises. So brain games on the computer, but no feedback technology and no behavior shaping. And the third was their control, and they received no intervention at all. And at the end of the study, the play attention students were the only students that showed global improvements in all areas, including academic, social, behavioral, and executive function. They were also the only students that if they started the study and they were on medication, because some of the students were on, some of them were not. If they started the study and they were on medication, the play attention students had an average decrease in their medication, where the other two groups had an average increase. And that goes back to skill building. If we can help you develop the skills that you lack, there may be less of a necessity to mask those symptoms. So you can use play attention whether you're on medication or not on medication. Play attention can teach the skills that medication alone cannot teach. These are really good studies. If you want to review the main Tufts studies, they did a pilot study and then they were funded by the Department of Education. So then they did their main study and then they did a 6-month follow-up to make certain that the skills maintained even after the training had stopped, which they did. So if you want copies of the Tufts studies, just please type in Tufts in the chat box and we will make certain that you do receive those studies. Now, let's talk about the different cognitive skills and the feedback that's involved with the program, because I've talked a lot about the feedback training, but I really want to explain what that feedback looks like, give you an example. So this is one of my clients, John, and this specific program that he's working on here is called Attention Stamina. It is teaching him how to direct and sustain his attention at will, much like being able to pay attention to the teacher in the classroom or the boss in the workplace or your colleagues. So you see, he has that body wave armband on his arm, and then he has that submarine. And that submarine starts at the top of the screen. And that submarine is simply going across the top of the screen. Once he's focused and paying attention, he's able to push that character down to the bottom of the ocean just with his attention alone. Remember, I said all of the activities are brain enabled. So as long as he's paying attention, he's able to push that character down to the bottom of the ocean just with his attentive state. If he gets distracted, and distraction can be a variety of things. It could be that he starts to daydream. It could be that he starts a self-distracting behavior like fidgeting or skin picking. It could be that someone walks into the room and he can't filter that noise. Immediately, that character will start to float up because he's no longer as attentive. And then he knows he has to control that behavior, control that daydream, focus back in order to continue. So that's really empowering. Like we said, it gives you an experience of what it means to pay attention. And by providing you that constant and immediate feedback regarding your attentive state, you're able to develop the self-regulation and self-monitoring you need to not only recognize when you're paying attention, but also recognize when you're not paying attention. And more importantly, know how to control it. You know how to control it because you've had an experience where you actually were able to practice it. So we're no longer saying, stay on task, eyes on me, sit still. We're giving you an experience, we're providing you feedback, and we're allowing you to practice not only attention, but all of these other cognitive skill areas that lay the foundation for strong executive function. So you see on the screen, we have a lot of different cognitive skill areas that we can address in your program. Like I said earlier, we want to get to know you first, assess your needs, and then customize your plan. So we'll pinpoint the different cognitive skills that are most important for you. Everyone here will receive the course modules that are considered to be the foundations of executive function. Now, remember, all of them are brain enabled, so you have to be wearing that body wave technology in order to activate the activity. These activities include attention stamina. That's your ability to direct and sustain your attention at will. Visual tracking. Let me know if this is an area that is difficult for maybe your child. You go into the school and the teacher says, he does great when I stand right next to him. But as soon as I walk away, he's out the window and out the door. And then he has that diffused attention where he's paying attention to a little bit of everything. So we're going to work on staying very focused and visually tracking that teacher as he or she moves about the room. Task completion. This is a big one. And many of you brought this up in your goals. Task completion is the ability to start a task right away, keep your attention just on that one task until completion, that closed-end tasking. So a lot of times this can be frustrating for you as an adult. I can't remember who said it earlier, but she says she's just working really hard and doesn't have any time for the fun things. And so this is that ability to start and stay on task until completion. So you can get to the fun things. So you're not working so hard. So that 15 minutes of homework takes 15 minutes and not 2 or 3 hours. Short-term memory, that's the ability to remember dates, names, facts. Discriminatory processing, which is filtering distractions, both auditory and visual. And then we have a program called Academic Bridge, which specifically addresses transfer and generalization, because it's great if you can come in and do a really good play attention session. But our end goal is to make certain that you're able to take these skills and apply them in the workplace or at home or at school. So you see my student here, she has that body wave armband on, but she's not looking at the computer screen anymore. The computer's running and monitoring her attention, but she's focused on her writing assignment. As long as she's paying attention to her writing assignment, she's going to hear from the computer, good, great. So then she knows I'm in that state I need to be in order to finish my homework. If she starts to drift, she'll hear focus. And then she knows she's not in that state she needs to be in order to process and complete this in a timely manner. So that is really critical. This is where we're asking you to take all of the skills you've learned within play attention and apply them to your real work. So I know many of you are considering getting a tutor for your child, or, really focusing on some of your specific work tasks. You can incorporate Academic Bridge while you're actually doing those academic tasks or those work tasks. I work with one adult client, and she is in her 70s and she's a day trader. So she only uses this Academic Bridge while she is day trading so that she is in her peak attentive state when trading. I've worked with another individual, and she was a classroom teacher, actually a high school English teacher, and she was struggling with grading papers. She was spending all weekend trying to get through grading papers because she couldn't attend to it. She knew how to do it. She just couldn't sustain her attention to it. So we started incorporating Academic Bridge, and she started to learn what she was doing that she thought was helping her, that wasn't helping her, what was affecting her negatively, what was distracting her, and how to sustain that attention, recognize when she was drifting, and bring herself back. So now she's down to 2 hours on the weekend instead of 2 days on the weekend. And that goes back to improving executive function so that you're not having to work that hard. Hattie said, I was one of those people all weekend grading papers, right, Hattie? And that is no fun at all. You want to have that time for other things in your life. So again, you'll receive the foundations of executive function. Each of these modules have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced skill option. So there are certain benchmarks you have to reach before moving up to intermediate and then to advanced. And our artificial intelligence, Sheer Genius, will actually track those benchmarks and graduate you when appropriate. And when you get into those higher levels of difficulty, we tie in processing speed. So this is important if you ever notice that your child understands the information or you understand the information, it just takes you a little bit longer to process and then respond. And if that is true, then it actually negatively impacts reading comprehension, social skills. So processing speed is integrated. Task switching, that ability to be mentally flexible, transition from one situation to another. We work on impulse control and, of course, filtering distractions. So as you move up into the higher levels of difficulty, we tie in these other processes that, again, support strong executive function. We then have a variety of masterclass modules that are available. You can pick and choose from these at any time. Those include working memory. So everyone probably is pretty familiar with working memory. It helps with reasoning, evaluating, and comprehension. Auditory processing, the ability to follow through with multiple step verbal instructions. Hand-eye coordination, we'd incorporate this if there's any small motor control difficulties, handwriting, keyboarding. Social skills, if you have any difficulty picking up social cues with peer relationships. Motor skills is if you have any bumps, bruises, accidents in your peers, helps with that mind-body coordination. Spatial memory, if you're constantly looking for your phone or your keys or your wallet, this is a good one for you. And then finally, mindfulness. And, we hear so much about how mindfulness helps with the symptoms of ADHD, and that's true. But mindfulness can be difficult, especially if you have that scattered mind. And so what our mindfulness application does is it gives you a visual representation of what it means to be in the present moment. So you actually see a lotus flower in the middle of the screen. Once you have your mind in the present moment, that petal will start to open on the flower. If you start thinking about what's for dinner, when's my next meeting, what time do I have to pick up the kids, when do I have to make that phone call, that petal will start to close because you're no longer in the present moment. And then you have to bring yourself back in order to continue. So those are all of the different cognitive skills that can be addressed within your program. Now, remember, the end goal is to improve executive function. So although you don't see organization or emotion regulation in our courses, our course modules, in order for you to be more organized, in order for you to, let's say, control your emotions, you have to be able to pay attention to the entire situation. You have to be able to process that information, remember the information, assimilate it with prior knowledge, and control your impulsive response. And all of those skills are what you're working on in every single play attention session. So every time you do a play attention session, you're strengthening your organization, your emotion regulation, your mental flexibility. You're strengthening executive function every time you do a play attention session. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I don't know what areas I want to address. You gave me 14 different areas. What would be best for me? So we do have an assessment package available. We have a couple of different assessments. Some of you may have already gone through some testing and you want to share those assessments with us. That's great. We're happy to look at other assessments that you've done and customize your plan based on that, or simply have a conversation with you. But if you are interested in taking an assessment yourself or having your child do an assessment, we have two available. One is called Focus, which is a norm reference test of attentional control. It's computer-based. It takes about 20 minutes. And at the end of that time, we receive a full report that tells us how you performed compared to the performance of your peers. We also have the Brief available. The Brief is a behavior rating intake of executive function. So this gives us a snapshot of your executive function on a day-to-day basis. After you do one or both of those assessments, we need about a 30-minute block of time to review the results with you and customize your play attention neurocognitive training plan to make certain we're addressing your specific needs. Now, if you're interested in doing an assessment and kind of looking at what that would look like for you, what would your neurocognitive training program look like? We do offer those assessments. Each assessment is $50, but with this webinar for our webinar attendees. You'll get those at half price. So if you are interested in one or both of those assessments, just type in assessment in the chat box and we'll follow up with you to help you get registered. So that means if you do one, it'd be $25. If you do both, it'd be $50, but we will need that 30-minute block of time, 40-minute block of time afterwards to review all the results with you and talk about a customized plan. So again, if you're interested in the assessment or registering or more information, just type in assessment and we will reach out to you to help you with that. Now, once we assess your needs and we are ready to start your program, this is what you'll receive. So you'll have, of course, your body wave armband because you need that in order to activate your exercises. The customized neurocognitive training plan, that's with all of your different cognitive exercises, a behavior shaping module. Now, we haven't chatted about this, but I've mentioned that we integrate behavior shaping. And this is really critical if you have a child or a client who has a lot of self-distracting behaviors, or maybe you as an adult, you skin pick or fidget or bite your nails, or maybe your child chews on his shirt. If there are those self-distracting behaviors, we want to turn the behavior shaping component on. It's really powerful because you actually get a one-to-one correlation on how certain behaviors affect your attention. Because a lot of times you may be unaware that you're even picking your skin, and you definitely don't know how it affects you personally. But if you are doing that first activity that you saw and you push that character down to the bottom of the ocean and you start fidgeting or picking your skin or nail biting, immediately that character starts to float up. And now we have a teachable moment. You get a one-to-one correlation on how that behavior affects your attention. And we're able to use that to set objectives and help you learn how to control those behaviors not conducive to good attention. You are also assigned, whether you're a home client or a professional client, you're assigned a personal executive function coach to help you every step of the way. And our coaches are really exceptional. They will help you set up your profiles. They will take you through a practice session, answer all your questions, just help you navigate the whole program as you go step by step. You'll have that 90-minute live training session with your executive function coach, and you have a lifetime membership. That means as long as you want to use Play Attention or you're using it in your practice or at home, you will have use and you will have unlimited support. Now, we do recommend that you have a very specific training schedule, and we do recommend that you work at least an hour per week, and you can break that hour up. It could be 2 30-minute sessions. It could be 4 15-minute sessions, whatever works best for you. Now, a lot of individuals right now are asking, well, it's summer. Can we do more over the summer and help with the transition into the new school year? Absolutely. If you have more time and your child can handle at least an hour and a half per week, that's fine. We'll just break that hour and a half up, work with your executive function coach to schedule everything, make certain that we're on a good plan. But it is absolutely fine to do more over the summer because I know a lot of you are looking to help strengthen a lot of these areas so that the transition into the new school year is much better and much more successful. Now, you're going to start seeing results after about 6 weeks of consistent training, but they're going to be small steps of improvement. You're going to notice that you're more engaged, that your child's getting along with his peers better, that your daughter actually followed through with 3 instructions without you redirecting or reminding. Maybe you're more organized, your time management is better. So you're going to start seeing these small steps of improvement. But what you're not seeing is what's actually occurring in the brain. And that's that we're, remember, sparking that brain change. We're causing those new neural pathways to become formed. And in the beginning, those networks are weak. So that means one day it'll look like you're doing beautifully. And then the next day it'll look like you've never heard the word attention before. And that's the up and down to training, right? But through continued practice, we're going to strengthen those networks to a point of permanency. And that's our end goal, because we want to know that not only will your child have these skills now when she's 8, but she's going to have them when she's 48. Or not only will you have these when you're 48, but you'll have them when you're 68. So we have to work to a point of permanency. And that typically takes about 40 hours total. So if you're working that hour per week, I would plan on about 10 months of consistent training. At that point, you and your executive function coach will review your data, make certain you're at all the advanced skill options, maybe do another focus or brief assessment to make certain everything's transferred and generalized. If everything looks good, then we can start graduating you from the program. If it looks like there's more work to be done, we simply customize the plan and we keep going. Remember, you have a lifetime membership. So whether it takes you 10 months or 18 months, we're always working with you. We're always making certain that we customize your plan and keep working until graduation. Even once you graduate, if you want to continue using it as peak performance training, you can do that. Again, you always can use your program and your support is always there. So let's just run through a couple of key features. Sheer Genius is going to set your curriculum. So when you log in, Sheer Genius is going to say, Daisy, today you're going to work on attention stamina, time on task, and working memory. Not only that, but you will have that deliberate practice set for you. So yesterday you completed working memory with 70% attention. Today, let's try 72%. And if you do that, you earn a point, and the point goes into your reward system. So if you or your child or your students do really well with rewards and points, it's all built into Play Attention, and Sheer Genius will track it all for you. And then, of course, monitor your progress. So at any time, you can go into your portal and see everyone's progress over time in each of the cognitive skill areas and the behavioral areas. Now, if you want added support, we do have personal trainers that are available to do live training sessions. So let's say that you would like someone else to work with your child, or you as an adult want a coach working with you during your session. We have that ability where we can connect with you and we can have a live training session where we're doing your session in real time. We can see each other. We can talk with each other. We can talk about your goals and your progress within Play Attention. That's all available as well. So again, we are here to customize your neurocognitive training plan in order to help you reach your goals, whether that is to become more productive at work, to help your child be successful in school and with relationships. If you're working with your clients in order to help them be successful in the classroom or the workplace or at home, then all of that is what we specialize in. We get to know you, we assess your particular needs, and design that customized neurocognitive training plan. There are two separate programs available. There's the home system. The home system comes standard with a user license for 2 people. That means at any one time, you can have 2 people enrolled in your program. Now, those user licenses are reusable. If you have 3 or 4 family members you want to enroll, you can wait for one person to graduate and delete that file and enroll that other person, or you can upgrade your user license. Each additional user license is just $50. So you have that flexibility. The professional version comes with an unlimited user license. So if you're sitting here thinking, I have 25 clients I could enroll tomorrow, you'll be able to do that. You have unlimited access. You have an unlimited user license, so you can enroll all of your clients into your program, and there's no relicensing fee. So again, this is everything you'll receive with your program: your body wave technology, your neurocognitive training plan, your behavior shaping, your personal executive function coach, training to help you get up and running, and a lifetime membership. These 2 different options, the home system, again, is a one-time fee, and it is $1,795. The professional system is a one-time fee, which is $24.95. So the home system, again, $17.95, and the professional system is $24.95. And that's not per person, that's per system. So if you have a home system, you're enrolling multiple family members. If you have the professional system, you're enrolling multiple clients, and you have that unlimited support and that lifetime membership. And there are no continuing monthly fees. It's simply a one-time fee, whether you're using it for, like I said, 10 months, 15 months, or 10 years. So you have that unlimited use and that support. Janelle, yes. Janelle's asking about the health savings account. We have had many families who were able to use their health savings account or their flexible savings account. And we do work with a firm with payment plans as well. So if you want more information on that, just let us know. Now, Retta, yes, the $17.95 is one-time fee unless you want to go through a firm, and a firm has different payment plan options, which I believe they have 6 months interest-free, and then they have a couple of different longer-term options as well. So Retta, if you want more information on a firm, just let us know. You can type in a firm and we'll let you send you more information on that as well. So for our webinar attendees, I know many of you had seen earlier this week that we had that Memorial Day special. It actually ended last Friday, but many of you wanted to attend today's webinar before actually starting your program. So if you do want to take advantage of that Memorial Day special, we've extended it for our webinar attendees, which means you'll get 10% off your total program. Plus, you will get 2 free modules of your choice from our masterclass. And you can do those, you can select those modules now if you know which modules you would like, or you can wait until you do an assessment or chat with your executive function coach and decide on those 2 later. So everyone here today will actually get 10% off your total order plus 2 free add-on modules from our masterclass. If you would like to go ahead and chat with one of our advisors about taking advantage of that special offer and starting your program, just type in your phone number in the chat box and one of us will reach out to you later today. If there's a specific time you need to call back, just let us know that specific time. We are here until 6 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, we will call outside the United States. That's not a problem. But if you're in a different time zone and you want a specific time, just type in your phone number and a specific time and we'll reach out to you. We'd like to talk to you first because we like to make certain we know who's going to take the assessments. If you need assessments, we like to learn a little bit more about you so that we can connect you with the appropriate executive function coach. So if you do want us to give you a call back to help you get started and take advantage of that special, just type in your phone number, and a specific time to call is absolutely fine. We will accommodate your needs. Now, I have some exciting next steps for you. One is we are going to have a 30-day summer mindfulness challenge starting on July 1st. It'll run from July 1st to July 30th. It is free. It's a mindfulness challenge. We're going to have mindfulness practices posted for everyone for all ages every day. They won't take long. We're designing them to take maybe 10 minutes out of your day. You can do them in the morning or in the evening. You can do them individually or with a friend or as a family. So if you would like to actually take part of our mindfulness challenge, go ahead and type in mindfulness and we will make certain to register you. I think it'll be a fun way to incorporate some mindfulness practices into your summer. So if you do want to be part of that mindfulness challenge, go ahead and type in mindfulness and we'll make certain that you are registered and get all of the updated information. All right. Lots of you are going to attend that. So that's great. So a few different steps. Of course, if you'd like to start your program and take advantage of that 10% off, you can just type in your phone number and we will get back to you at later today or at the time that you that you request. If you wanted that assessment package or to learn more or want to register for the assessment and you haven't typed in assessment yet, go ahead and type in assessment so that we can contact you to get you registered for that assessment. I think that you'll find those to be really interesting. Not only will those assessments give you more knowledge, but we're going to take it a step further, right? We're not going to just talk about the different areas of concern, because you may know some of those areas of concern. We're going to talk about those areas of concern and how we can address them, how we can provide you with a program to improve those areas of concern. So you'll have the assessment, but then you'll have a plan of action, which is critical. Also, if you just want more information and you want to chat with one of us, just one-on-one, of course, the assessment comes with the consult as a follow-up. But if you just want a one-on-one consultation because you have more questions or you want to chat about your specific situation, just type in consult and we will reach out to you to schedule a time with a consultation. If you do want to attend next week's webinar, it's not next week, it's the following week. And it's that Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be talking about ADHD and the reading process, reading comprehension, and, how executive function negatively impacts reading comprehension and the reading process, some tips and strategies to help, and also how play attention can be incorporated to help with that reading process. We have a couple of really great programs that help specifically with the reading process. So if you want to attend that webinar, just type in webinar and we'll make certain that you are registered. So again, mindfulness challenge, type in mindfulness. If you want to start, just type in your phone number. If you want to register for the assessment or learn more about the assessments, just type in assessment. One-on-one consult, type in consult, or type in webinar if you'd like the webinar. If you want all of the above, just type in all of the above. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to keep this chat box up because many of you are still typing in the chat box, typing in the specific things that you would like. And so you can continue typing in the chat box the next steps you would like us to address for you. But again, thank you so much for taking time out today and learning a little bit more about play attention. I hope this gave you a good idea of our technology and the process, and we look forward to working with you very soon. Take care, everyone, and have a great afternoon.